we have homeless people who's living under some of these flyovers. You may that's one. They even have their shower early in the morning. You see them. They have that's where they have their baths and all of that stuff. We have mentally deranged people living under some of them. We'll come to the manholes issue later. But generally, the CDCs, you think that they've been aggressive enough in ensuring that this some level of sanity, is sustained?
Yes, in some communities, I will avoid that they have been enough. If you look at the one at CFC, the Abali flyover is part of my community. I think you will see the insanity in that area. And also, somehow in Garrison, the Rebisi flyover, sanity is trying to return because of the sensitization of the people. And what we are working on now is the one at what is it called? Wigodo Park.
Okay.
That one is a very dense area, and you can see that people come from nowhere. There are even people who lives there, and I think the Port Harcourt City Local Government Council have to do something.
So people live under that flyover.
People live under the flyover, and if that place is not clear, it will be very difficult. You see people robbed at night, they raped women and all the rest, and this is not what we are talking about. Police cannot do all this. We, the people, I work with the River State Newspaper Corporation, and those who work at night sometimes live around 10, 11. They are robbed. And
so why isn't the community doing enough?
Well, you see, they can't be awake all through. Some will always go back to some have family and they will want to go back to their family. But what we are saying is that at least they should also help the police. Police cannot be there at all times.
But then, before it got to the point where you have people, because some of these people who do these things are from communities. Some are even from that community where the infrastructure is located, which means that they belong to families that are in those communities. So it's ideally somebody would think that before they get to the point where they go to do these things under those flyovers, they have family members in those communities or community leadership or heads who would have said these things are not good and try to prevent them from even going to do such things instead of setting up task force that would wake up at night to monitor those activities.
You see, yes, there are people that lived there, they were born there, and they are part of the community. You can't chase them away. There is that incident when I was the community chairman. There was one incident that happened about just few days after the Christmas, the festive period, the New Year period. The security man in our community hall called me and said they have arrested somebody who broke into the community playground and was cutting the protector of that area.
Something I would also raise up.
Yes. So what we did was I asked them to arrest him and held him. In the morning about 6 o'clock, I arrived there and I saw him. I said, "Who sent you?" He said there were two. One of them is a member of the community. And I said, "Okay, take him to the Nigerian to the police, my one DPO." He was detained, and the following day he was taken to court. And I have to look for the member of
the
my
one who is in the community,
who is from the community. He was running, and the same person worked with one of the companies in my community. He earns 150,000 naira.
But then still committing that crime,
and he gets amnesty 65,000 naira every month.
So it's not a matter of he was unemployed or there's nothing to do.
Yes.
Because from what you said, he's any more than most of us.
Of course. So what I did, I now sent a message. I need him from his parents. I said, within 2 days, the first thing I will do, I will remove him from where he's working. And after that, I will still chase him. So police was helping me, and they have to come. I said, he came to the community meeting. I said, well, the first thing, yes, you have surrendered yourself. You will go and report to the police. The other man went to court. He will also do that. And by the time we go to court, then we will come back home and settle it. That is only the solution.
So what did he say was the reason for wanting to? Because I noticed something around the flyovers. You know, some of them have those wired fences.
Of course.
They've all been cut off. Yes. If you even go to the airport road area, if you're going towards the airport, we had similar things. They've all been cut off. The Rumuwoji flyover area used to have those kind of fences as well. It's all no longer there. So what did he say was the reason for cutting those?
He didn't give any. He said he was only just denying that he was not part of it. That this guy I said, this man among all the members of the community
chose to point you.
So go and explain yourself. So he went to court. And when we went to court, they decided to settle out of court. Well, the community told him what to do because it's part of his property of the community. I told him, this is what you have to do. Pay back those things you have destroyed. Because there are other ones that have destroyed. He said, you are going to replace
now pay for all of them. Because you're the one that has now been caught.
That was the condition was given to him before we seek for out of court
settlement. We have a commercial coming. So when we come back from the commercial, we'll discuss whether or not the flyovers aided. What is causing the traffic around the flyovers? Because many feel with the flyovers we shouldn't have traffic. But I've come to also look at it and feel, yes, some of the flyovers, the design might be... You might look at the design and say it should have been done in a certain way to aid traffic, but also it seems as though we have other activities around the flyovers that contribute to the traffic. How those activities are being checkmated, especially trading, touts under the flyovers, etc., etc. The Okorono, the flyover from around 5-6 p.m. You see what happens. You wonder if these people are thinking like properly some of the things that they do under there. We'll have that conversation, and then the manhole issues that are being stolen. Most of the flyovers, on top of them, manhole covers have been removed. After the commercial, all of this is next.
Trader,
State Community Development Chairman and PHALGA, to be precise, Rumuwoji, Abali, Rebisi, Wigodo. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Well, we're asking you to tell us the condition of the flyovers in your area. What are the activities around the flyovers? We're highlighting some of the problems that we have seen. We know that some of flyovers in Port Harcourt have now become a place for people to stay. It's now the home for a few people. It's also a criminal spot now. It's also an area where we have some activities like illegal trading, illegal motor parks, touts. It's just a lot of the things. The list goes on and on. People vandalize even the property, the infrastructure has been vandalized. The street lights that are on the flyovers, some of them are no longer working. Some of them you would see that, like, basically, some of them people would say maybe bad driving at night. Then some of them have been pulled off. They're just not functioning as they ought to. Which brings me to a very important question. Now that I mentioned the street lights on the flyovers precisely, who is responsible for controlling the lights on the flyovers? Is it the community? Does the community play any role in that, or is it just squarely on the shoulder of the government?
I think it's clearly on the shoulder of the Minister of Power.
Okay.
Rivers State Government.
All right. Let's take messages and then we come back to some more talk. Charlie Man Obianozie says, I don't think the flyover stopped traffic problems in Port Harcourt. Some of them are not being used because of its location. For the one at Ikoko Axis, it's not being used frequently. Under the flyover, you see mad people and dirts. That's one that I've also looked at, and I had questions because I look at the amount of traffic generated seem to be under and not over. So we don't have a lot of cars going over. But then another thing that's also contributed, which is something I'm saying, if you look at the Coronado flyover, you would also see that. We know that for these flyovers, the roads were expanded a bit, which means that if all going well, it will be enough to accommodate the cars that move there. And if everybody drives well, we would not have the kind of traffic that we still have in those areas. But we know that everybody doesn't drive well. Sometimes you get to the point, and what is causing the traffic is somebody who is trying to reverse or does not understand how the lanes. That's one. But another important thing is the fact that we now have motor parks take half of the roads. Besides the flyovers, illegal motor parks. Illegal motor. In fact, the Okuta flyover, when it started working, I was observing, there was nothing like that. You just be going freely, it was fine. Traffic lights were working, and then just about a few days ago, I passed, and then I saw the cars. They started aligning themselves to load just beside under the flyover there at the side. The Rumuwoji flyover, when you get Rumuwoji, like the junction there, that is the one close to Bori. That's historic. It's been really, and it's even the same way. You see people trading under it, by the flyover on the side of the road, people loading their vehicles, taking half of the lane of the road. Does the community contribute to this? Because of course, most of these drivers are from the community too.
No, not really. I think,
okay. So tell us about it.
When it comes to illegal motor parks, I think that is the responsibility of the local government.
But we have people who are from the community who collect money from those guys. They say it. I'll give a typical example.
You're getting it wrong. Some are not members of the community. Some are members of Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers.
Okay.
And they work with the local government. So it is the local government that approves, although state governments build motor parks, market, and hand over to the local government. So it is the power of the local government to reallocate, motor parks that are not, in line with the law. So
are you suggesting that some of these illegal motor parks have the approval of local government?
Of course, you can't expect cars to load on the road. There must be a way so that there will be free power. During the time of the immediate past administration, there was this task force of illegal motor park and street trading. Although that task force didn't carry out its function. They started victimizing traders, petty traders, and all the rest. That is not what they were asked to do. They were asked to ensure that illegal motor parks do not exist within Port Harcourt and Obiakpo.
But then it brings me to think, because, for instance, look at the East-West Road. Just across the road, you're opposite the station. You can't have a motor park there. In fact, the stretch There are different junctions. You cannot go to Jefta Junction and have a motor park there. The point is, wherever you're going, you stand on the road and wait for a vehicle that's passing, that's empty. They stop and you enter and you continue your journey. So it brings me to wonder why they decide to now want to put a park outside the park that was built, but put a park along the road where you would have just allowed anybody stand and wait for taxi, stop, enter, continue your journey.
We have just said they are illegal. They are not.
So if it's illegal, how can the local government council approve something that's illegal?
No, they don't. But they have failed to enforce that these drivers do not park at the road. If you go to somewhere, Umokini and all the rest, vehicle coming from Bayelsa, you see some traffic there because of the activities of these drivers who block the road to pick passengers. They believe that when they are on the road, passengers will come in. They will get passengers. So that is the problem. So it is the responsibility of this local government to ensure that drivers don't park on the road. And it is also their responsibility to educate the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers, those who collect this money, for them to ask their drivers or their members to park well and pick their traffic.
Because drivers make the excuse that passengers that want us to. And I'm saying,
I
use the Rumuwoji for example. There was no, at first, cars were not parking there. But I'm sure passengers were finding their way to wherever they needed to go while before cars started parking there. And now passengers have seen that cars are parking there. Passengers now decide to come there. So it still wouldn't make sense if you say the passengers were the reason why. Which brings me to my next question. There are other things. The traders also under the flyover. Some of them say people from the community, they pay money to. This is also something. What is the job of the CDC in regards to ensuring that these flyovers, we have sanity around those flyovers in Port Harcourt? What exactly can and should the CDC be doing?
Well, the duties of the CDC is to ensure sanity in the community, to handle the affairs of the community, and also to protect government facilities in their areas. That is one of their responsibilities. And, they cannot carry out the functions of the local government. I know there was an incident that happened between the council staff of my one market and the union over collection of this. When there is too friction, when there is frictions in the activities of these people, a lot of people will want to think otherwise. So the community leaders have their own issues. They have their way they operate. They cannot overlap the order. When it comes to market, they have market masters and all the rest. And they also have their functions. So a community man will
But if the market master is placing a market at an illegal place or giving illegal space to people to trade, he cannot be claiming right in that kind of situation, should he?
It shouldn't.
So why then does it happen?
Well, I don't know how to explain this.
There has to be. We need to understand, because it's not enough to say the flyovers were not designed properly to aid traffic.
I've not said so.
I'm saying for people who say that. And one of the people who also criticize some of the flyovers and where they were located, and I've also looked at the traffic that they carry, and I felt, well, maybe if the design was this way, it would really lift the traffic. But you can also see that beyond that, we have these activities that we're discussing now, contributing immensely to the traffic that we have around some of these flyovers.
Yes. No, the traffic we have is contributed by these traders and the illegal parking. I have said this. And it is left for the local government to ensure that those who trade on the streets no longer trade there. And also the drivers who parked on the road do not park there. So if all these things are maintained, it's not about collecting 100 naira or 200 naira tax for a taxi that will enable you to. But what is the effect of the road users? Sometimes we spend 30 minutes on the road just because of the activities of this illegal trading and illegal.
Because I must say, under the Rumuwoji flyover, it's crazy at night. In fact, most of the times.
Are you
not
talking
just
at the night? What about at the daytime?
Daytime as well.
On Saturday, I was going to a chair and I spent close to 20 minutes under the flyover.
The market, that market at the Okoro, close to the Okoro Nodu flyover, if you're going towards the Obiakpo Council, is also a question. Whether it's
and the funny thing is that Obiakpo Council is close by. So are you telling me that
the council chairman doesn't see it?
Doesn't see it, or it doesn't affect him? If it doesn't affect him, what about other principal officers?
You have to explain then why is it allowed to continue?
I wouldn't know. I'm not in the government.
All right, we'll open the phone lines and take some thoughts. Let's look at a few messages too. Flyovers were built to make movement and driving easy, but unfortunately, we are in a country where people are not patient and don't obey traffic rules and regulations. You see what you said in Gbami and Peter. I highlighted that another thing is some people don't know how to use the road. They only know how to move their vehicle, but they don't. I've seen somebody who didn't understand how the street lights work. You know, some of the roads you have exit turn. You have an exit turn and you have people going straight. And even on the going straight, you have the service lane and you have the express lane. And then the lights are designed in a way that it could help someone who's on the service lane to stop, but whoever is on the speed lane can move. But people don't know some of these things. And so you have someone who is supposed to be on the speed lane driving on the service lane. And then he's now stuck in traffic and he wants to turn this way. And then you have chaos, basically. So it's not because sometimes the road is even bad. The road will be good, but there's still traffic.
You see, that brings to our institutions. Who gives driving license to these persons? Before you are given a driver's license, you must have been trained. You must have been interviewed and screened to know all the signs, the road signs, before you are given a driver's license. But today what they do is to give license to kill. Those who drive do not know the signs. And what do you expect? That is where
all right, Gbami and Peter, we got your message there. If government is sincere in enforcing traffic rules and make people pay for traffic offenses they commit, they will make a lot of money. Instead of having those parks that charge 100 naira, this is like something that, because in the States, people get tickets and you make money. The government makes huge revenue for people who disobey these traffic rules or do not know how to use these roads and even how to use the roundabout. That's another. I have a friend in the north who visited and was telling me how we don't know how to use the roundabout here. You see, once you see a vehicle in the roundabout, you can't enter. That vehicle has to go out before you enter. But then and which was beautiful when I saw the Rumuwoji flyover and how it was designed, where the line stops. You can't go beyond it and get into the roundabout. Especially if the traffic light catches you have to stop before the roundabout. But if you go to the Eliozu flyover, as another example, people would stop right under the flyover in the roundabout. That's where the traffic man has said stop. That's where they will come and stop and then block people that need to. There's a lot of things that contribute to it. It's chaotic sometimes. But then the CDCs, there's one thing we'll still touch, which is the removal of manhole covers. That's you've said for the trading and the rest. Yes. The CDCs, everybody has their office and you can't explain why it continues. So maybe the illegal, the manhole cover that people have been stealing on some of the flyovers, you would have an explanation. Another message from Olonwi Prince Osayon says, good morning. I think the flyover in Rumuwoji, Garis in Rumokoro, should be locked down. It's hard for some drivers to navigate their way. Okay, let's get to the phone lines. 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0007 are the numbers to call to be a part of the conversation. Legbosi Deo says, one at Rumokoro is good, but some drivers going to Uniport refuse to pass up, causing go slow, and drivers loading around the flyover also causes traffic. Then touts would also do their own operation there. I've seen them stop in the middle of the road or just stop a bus, stop, and there's traffic and they are fighting or they're arguing and everybody's stuck. You know, another person here says, I don't know, our phone lines are not coming on. I don't know what the issue is. Okay, I'll pick the calls and you just tell me your name and where you're calling from. I think we're having slight issues with the phone lines at the moment. Nigeria Info, good morning to you.
Good morning, Nigeria Info. My name is Prince Will. I'm calling you from Emeka, Port Harcourt.
Okay, Prince Will, go ahead.
All right, I've been following your program, and that's very, very educative. But I have a little issue with what's going on around Elios flyover. Talking about factors that contribute to the bad traffic situation along that Elios flyover. Is it proper for the Nigerian police to conduct stop and set operations under the flyover, under the bridge, right under the bridge? If they can put their barricade anywhere else, before the bridge or anywhere else, but this one goes to Elios flyover, right under Elios flyover, under the bridge. They are stopping vehicles there, conducting stop and set operations. That country, that makes that place a hell to pass. To be honest, maybe you have not taken note of this.
No, we have. I think you'd also see it happen around the Elios flyover. Thank you very much. That would be for police to respond to. But would also say something about it. Okonkwo from Rumuwoji, good morning.
Good morning, Brave Femi.
Yes.
Yes. In other countries, after building their beautiful flyovers, they used to set up groups that are called flyover monitoring team members or flyover monitoring team organizations. And when they do that, they will build some structures by the side of the road for them. And there they will have a shifting walk. Those that will walk from 8 o'clock to 10. Another set will take over from 10 to 18. And they will be the personnel watching the flyover, monitoring all the areas of flyovers. And when you get to those countries, if the food you're eating falls on the ground within the flyover side, you will pick it and blow it and eat it. Why can't we do that? Every sector in this country is interested in money, but not in keeping the Nigerian environment clean. So let us set up flyover monitoring teams, and all these problems will solve. Thank you.
All right, Chima from NTA Road, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Welcome.
Andrew, I think the traffic management in Port Harcourt is zero. They, to that effect, have actually failed to do their job. They have compromised. Andrew, for example, I was driving at Artillery flyover. On that Artillery, I know when you're coming from Romola, you don't need to turn for first. You need to turn for the second Artillery. In you trying to turn, you see numbers of people have turned under that flyover as fast. They parked there. So I had to clear one side and went further to make inquiry. I said, why are people parking here? He said they pay to stop. That's what he said. They pay to stop to allow them park under the flyover. I was surprised. Understand? So I think the transport are not doing their job properly. If there is a strict enforcement of traffic, clearing of road, you wouldn't have to have a road. Now, your guests are saying that there is a market unit. They contribute. But the majority is the people, the road transport workers, the taxis. They park right at the middle of the road. And you have the police there collecting money. So some of them, they pay police to turn for where they
All right, Chima, thank you. We have more callers on the line. Let's go to Hector in Degema. Hector, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
I think one of the reasons why task force was set up is to install sanity in the capital. I sent some pictures to you on WhatsApp concerning vandals. Ikoku flyover. A lot of those covers, as in the protectors, have been removed by vandals. I think that the reason why the government has put those fence is to prevent destitutes from taking over that place. But it's unfortunate that vandals are also removed. That is criminal act. And it seems that there is no punishment. Punishment has not come upon those vandals.
Hector,
record,
I think we
so
get
that
your
people
point, but we can't hear you clearly, unfortunately. We understand bits of what you have said. Let's go to Forces Avenue. Temple is on the line. Sorry, Hector, you might try to call back. Nigeria Info, Temple, good morning.
Good morning once again, the very distinguished Ifemi Andrew.
All right, go on.
The very distinguished Ifemi Andrew, thank God your guest is a former community chairman or leader. And if you go across this flyover, you will see some group of boys collecting money. We are talking about taking care, maintenance of this flyover, taking good proper care of this flyover, making sure the neatness and the good look is being sustained. All this money they are collecting, can you quickly ask your guest with a humble approach, who are these guys accountable to, and what are those money they collect on daily basis? What are they used for?
All right, Temple,
thank you so much.
I think it's a question I've put to him before, but then you're hearing it again. People still wondering because you're saying some of those people are members of the NURT, but some of them are members of the community, even if they are members of the union. They were first members of the community before becoming members of the union. What do they do with the monies? What do they do? Why are they doing those illegal collection? Doesn't the CDC's job involve stopping some of those things? Does it?
Well, just like I said, Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers who said they are carrying out their duties. This money does not come to the community. If maybe some of them are members of the community, that does not mean that the money comes to the community. Understand? And there's no way you will question the authority of Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers. They will say that they are doing that. I think the local government is also there. So if the government permits them, who are the community to stop them? So that is the issue. You can't cross your bound. You can't go beyond your bound.
Somebody says on WhatsApp, please, you and your guests should also talk about the Rumuwoji flyover too. Some bad guys attack people under that flyover to take phones and money, and the traffic lights timing need to be adjusted for easier movement. Drivers don't obey the zebra crossing rules. Ima Magic, how many drivers know the zebra crossing?
That is the problem.
Trust me, Ima, I have seen many drivers, they don't even know what the line on the ground means. They don't. Just drive. They don't know what it means for speed limits on certain roads. You shouldn't drive above certain, you have speed limits on certain roads. It's where we are. Let me take this message before we talk about the manhole, because I need to get your response. Okay, just tell us. The manhole thing covers, the ceiling of manhole covers, on some of the callers even mentioned the flyovers that don't have manholes anymore.
Many.
What is happening?
I think the state government...
is there a committee? Is there a CDC? What is it?
River State government, River State House of Assembly has decided to review the Public Works and Protection Law number 19 of 2012. I know that law was passed in 2012, and the state government, the State House of Assembly have passed that law. It has been.
So, what is the CDC doing?
Because
it's their job to protect.
Yes. We some of us were called for a meeting by the committee, and we have asked them to see that they incorporate the community leaders, so that these government properties have to be protected. Security, just like I said earlier, security is not for only the police. It involves you and I. It involves everybody. Because when the place is not secured, you are not also secured. Understand? So all this property, government properties are part of our property. So we should ensure them.
All right, Mr. Wigodo, time is out of hand. Thank you very much. Conversation will have many more times. We'll go on the commercial now.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.
and then we wrap things up. You heard the conversation with the former community chairman in PHALGA, Ike Wigodo. If you want to listen to it again, it's all online, so you can go to Nigeria Info 92.3 PH on Facebook. It's all there. You can watch the conversation again and continue to drop your comments. Some of these things that you point out are really being looked into. And also on X, we're there, Nigeria Info PH. This message says here, by Ferdinand Wodo, the Flyovers are just waste of resources. For example, the one at Rumuwoji is supposed to solve the traffic problem. The one at Artillery is supposed to solve the traffic problem, but they are not solving the problem. Another person here says, let's see this. Says, honestly, there's no enforcement of laws in the state. Go to their offices and see how the people who are assigned to enforce laws sit tight in their offices waiting for financial returns from erring ones. You can't see them on the field enforcing laws and regulations. Emil Kamande sent this one from Omagua. This person says, good day. Some of the Flyovers should have been given another kind of design, not all that now have crossover flyovers. So the traffic would still remain because taxi and bus drivers at the flyover points. I can't understand what you're saying, but I think it's something related to the activities of commercial drivers that is affecting the flyover because of its design. I think that's what you're trying to say. This one says, can we start introducing CCTV cameras, the flash points? If these thieves know that they will be caught, they won't continue. Alex sent in that message. Thank you guys very much. The messages are enormous. I had to take a few more, but there's still plenty of them to look at. We have to go now. The news at 9 is next. Afterwards, Jude would be coming in, and hello Port Harcourt. Man, it's quite a lot you would also hear. So you just might want to stick around for it. My name is Ifeami Andrew. Good morning.
You are tuned in to 90. Express yourself right here.